I don't want to rule or conquer anyone. I should like to help everyone if possible. Jew, Gentile, black man, white. We all want to help one another. Human beings are like that.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the At Random podcast. My name is Andy. I'll be your host of this evening. And of course, as usual, I'm joined by the lovely Alejandra and the amazing Alex, both of them from Sweden. How are you guys this week?
All good. How are you?
Are you drunk?
She's
No.
Not
No.
yet. Okay,
she's
cool.
drunk on power.
Power?
But, yeah. Nah, all good, all good. Did you catch anything last weekend when you were out picking car keys out of the fishbowl?
Oh, yeah, that made me laugh so much. I can't remember why that was that you said
Your
that.
neighbors came over or something.
Yeah, my
I was
neighbors
like,
came
oh,
over
you
and
swinging.
you in your head decided I was having a gangbang.
Or swinging, you know,
yeah.
you're fishing for keys.
Look, all I'm going to say is chlamydia takes about a week to clear up. And that's all I'm going to say about that.
Nice. So it's been clear for about a week. It's just 2 weeks in between
Hey, awesome
recording.
episode, by the way. I listened
Thank
to
you.
it, the whole sexual harassment fucking thing on Blizzard and what was the other one?
Activision.
Activision, yeah. That's what I said to you. I think I sent you a message saying that from now on, I was only gonna buy Bethesda games.
God damn it. Gonna buy a
and
fucking
I definitely didn't send you that because I know it would piss you off.
Skyrim fucking microwave edition.
Yeah. I bought the anniversary edition. It's awesome.
They made an anniversary? Why?
Yeah, they did.
It's already
Because
on
it's-
everything else.
Because it's 10 years old now.
Yeah, the good old game industry. Now they're just like, oh, it's more than 10 years old. We can just re-release it, right? And make money again.
Plus, at least they're not being sued for sexual harassment cases.
That's true. And it's not an abomination like GTA,
Yeah.
whatever
Wait.
the San Andreas, GTA 3, and Vice City.
Come on, you can't jump down GTA's throat like that. The fuck are
Dude,
you
that's
doing?
like the worst release of all time. They had to pull it off the store completely. Like people on PC that bought it, they can't even play it. They've had to take it down. It's that bad. They literally, you cannot play the thing you bought. And there's mods that already look better than with the real game. Oh yeah, that's a shit show.
Yeah, but that's
not-
usually the case, though. That's any game.
yeah, it's a fucking shit show.
Yeah. Play some realistic Minecraft and shit like that. That's awesome.
Should play house flipping or whatever simulator, whatever it is. We just flip
Flipping?
houses. Yeah, there's a game now. You
Yeah,
just
yeah,
sell
yeah.
houses.
No, I played the shit out of that game. You used to laugh
House
at
flipper,
me.
I think, right?
Yeah, House
Yeah.
Flipper. So fucking stupid. It's cleaning up garbage in a game and like hanging new wallpapers and shit like that.
You're too close to Germany over there in Belgium. You're starting to get their weird obsession with like simulating real life
yeah.
jobs.
Yeah, I was walking into that into those rooms like I will clean this house right now. It will be very beautiful once I am done. Oh,
Well, I don't know what to add in this point because obviously I don't know that much of gaming. I do want to add an interesting point though.
okay.
We were discussing in my English course.
You were disgusting?
Discussing
Oh, okay.
in my English course about, there was a section about if gaming is bad for kids and, you know, the whole ordeal with shooting games and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they said like, oh, but they should play more wholesome games where you can build universes. And I was like, I used to play Sims as a kid, but I also used to lock my characters in a room with no doors or windows and watch them die.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or put them in the pool and take out the
Yes.
ladder so they couldn't get out.
The baby fell in a pool. Quickly build a wall around it so it can't get out.
And that was all
That's
I
how
kept thinking.
Aquaman was
Shit.
made.
was like, how
is
is
there
that
no
better?
possibility in Sims of getting raped by an alien at one point and you then having an alien baby and shit like that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, play wholesome
not
games,
wholesome.
people.
Yeah. I remember one time my grandma I was build a family and they were sitting looking at the sky as I was building the house and she got struck by lightning.
Oh, good. Yeah.
Like,
You know what?
Nice. Nice and crispy.
Yeah, just real life shit. That's what The Sims is.
yeah.
I think I once had a vampiric boyfriend. That was one thing
Sexy.
too. Yeah, it was sexy. And it was the Twilight kind of vampire. It wasn't like the I'm gonna bite your fucking throat off kind of vampire. It's like more of a, oh, look, I'm sparkling under sunlight. That sort of fucking vampire. Which, you know, is the vampire we all want to believe is real. Fucking gay vampire would be so sweet, man. Jesus. Look at me, I'm sparkling! All right, well, before we started recording, about a short 5 minutes ago, me and Ali were having a little bit of a discussion because I got my second jab. So I'm within 3 weeks I should be COVID fucking free, but then again not sort of deal. I don't know what I'm gonna be. Look, in 3 weeks, nothing's gonna change. Like literally nothing's.
You can come and join
change.
us, the lizard people over here that already got the jab.
Well, yeah, listen, everybody's entitled to their own opinion on that, but I did say that it would bring me nicely into what I had planned for today, because today I have planned to see how well your knowledge of the more conspiratory side of me is.
Jesus.
Yeah, we're
Andy wants an episode where I just rail on him.
Yeah.
That's all he wanted. He's been gone for 2 weeks.
I already figured out since last episode that you are without a doubt the worst racist on this show. And I'm not saying this in jest.
For sure.
Like me and Alex, we say stuff just to get a kick out of it and like to jazz the audience up a little bit and shit like that, but we don't mean it. I've heard you say that Belgian people, and excuse the controversy here for a second, that Belgian people have an awful language and shit like that, and you were on the Belgian people's cases, which was not perceived well as far as I recall from the media storm that followed on our social media accounts.
Just to add to that, I can add the French now on that part, because they suck too.
It's the French now too?
No, the French as well.
Oh, the French as well.
Don't get me wrong.
Jesus. And last week,
I drove through France 2 weeks ago.
Wait, was it?
Not doing that again.
Did you do Paris? Did you drive Paris?
No.
Oh God, yeah, don't ever.
We
do
avoided
that.
Paris.
She wouldn't
Paris
be here if she went driving in Paris. They would be dead.
I was once picked up by a friend of mine that lives in Paris, and he lived on this apartment block, and he needed to squeeze into two cars, and he just went bam to the one in front, bam to the one in the back, and then just put his car in the middle. And I was like,
Sounds
what
like
the
the
fuck
French.
are you doing, man? And he's like, well, they're called bumpers for a reason. And that was it. Car was parked. Yeah, so here's what I had planned for today. I'm going to give you things, conspiracies that I would or would not believe in. And you're going to give me your idea on if I believe in them or not. And if so, I want to hear why you would think I reason with that, because I'm not the Facebook sort of conspiracy theories. Like, I get deep in shit.
Yeah, you're under 50, so you can't be a Facebook conspirator.
Yeah, I'm not a Facebook troll guy that just reads an article on Facebook and then just quotes, well, I did read that the earth was flat on Facebook, and I did some research by watching 2 10-minute videos on YouTube. You know, I actually go through the trouble of losing half fucking days, sometimes 2 days, 3 days, like genuine fucking deep balls, until I'm satisfied with what I find. But yeah, so we're gonna knock someone. These aren't
Wait,
all
before you start, I'm just going to say this is what we get for not stroking Andy's ego enough last episode. So we need to get a whole episode that is just dedicated to you, don't we?
No, it's not dedicated. Oh, wait, actually it is. Fuck.
It's mate.
Shit.
But that's okay.
All right,
It's fine.
We can give you some extra
I'm
love
going to
today.
finally get my dream of being Andy for
We're not
an
going
hour.
to do this. It's not done. We're not going to do this. Listen, we're going to do an open discussion.
Oh, Jesus. Fuck that. Back to the conspiracies.
Yeah, sorry.
No, this is more about like conspiracies in general and to get
It's
people into
fun
that.
and it's relaxed. I'm just taking the piss,
I
okay?
can't relax when you're around, Ali. Everybody knows that. You're a fucking witch. These aren't all conspiracy theories, by the way. Some of these are like general beliefs of people. So I wanted to smack down on those as well.
I swear to God, if there's some shit about star signs in here, I'm out.
Nah.
I'm a fucking Sagittarius, bro.
You're actually a Scorpio.
Shut the fuck up, witch.
Yep, and there's the stinger. Immediately proving you're a Scorpio. All right, so the first one I got was, do I believe in ghosts? Do you think I would believe in ghosts?
I think you would if you ever saw them, but I don't think you do because you've never seen them.
Okay.
I don't think you believe in ghosts because you're older than 10 years old.
Yeah.
And because instead of being a ghost, in your mind, it would be an alien of some description, like a human that been like fucking turned into some sort of vaporized plasma shit floating through the air or some crap.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. This is a bit of a weird one for me because I did put that one first because I believe it's like a curveball I'm throwing at you guys. I do actually believe in what people perceive to be ghosts. Like opening cabinets and shit like that. I do try to believe in that because there's so much overwhelming evidence pointing towards that. I don't believe they are deceased people, however. I don't know what they are. They might be an animal from nature we just don't know that can turn invisible or whatever. Like, you can't see, smell, or taste air, yet it still, like, fucking exists. So, like, why would it be so weird for something like that to exist within a sort of quote-unquote being, I would guess. But yeah.
Okay.
I believe in the... what would you call that? Like the idea of ghosts?
The idea of supernatural.
Yeah, but them not being supernatural. Them being natural, but in a different way. Like in something in a way that we don't yet understand with our tiny, tiny, tiny minds.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Yep. All right, next one. Pretty obvious, but do I believe in aliens / UFOs? Like genuinely from the bottom of my heart, do I believe in aliens and UFOs?
I will quote something from this podcast. Alex, I will flip you off while I fly past you on my UFO, on my spaceship. So, yes, a resounding yes. You might even be an alien. We don't know.
All right, but why? Why do you think that belief comes? Like, what would be the reason? What do you think pushed me over the edge on believing in aliens?
You have too much time on your head.
Just like there's things that happen in the world that just don't really add up, and the technology. Like, if you think of it, they just had access to better technology, this upper echelon of people that they got from aliens. Therefore, that's how they got ahead. It's the only logical answer in your mind. Aliens. So therefore, yeah, they got the technology from the aliens because they have aliens and they're talking to them and they're like interviewing them and they're learning stuff.
You think my persuasion into aliens is actually ancient aliens? I'm like the guy that follows the dude with the hair standing up, just in ancient aliens.
No, I think it's like recently, like last 50 years, whatever, sort of aliens. They've come here and now you've like people have been elevated or countries because of whatever they call.
You think that's the reason? Okay.
Yep.
I would say it's because booze at Aldi's is really cheap, and you have too much time on your hands, and you don't really love your family, so that's why you just want to run away and want to believe in a different reality.
Drag my family into this. Holy fuck!
That wasn't my plan initially, but it just came out.
Wow. Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Yeah, but okay, but scratch the family part.
No,
but still,
staying in.
No, but I'm just saying, scratch the family part. Still, cheap booze and too much time on your hands.
Yeah, okay.
That you don't give to your family.
No, it was actually a very specific case that got me believing into aliens and UFOs, and that's the case of Bob Lazar. Have you heard of this guy?
Know the name. I'm pretty sure you've spoken about it once before.
I don't know if I actually spoke about him, but he's the reason I do believe in. He's a guy back in the 90s or 80s that came out saying, "Hey, I'm a technician, worked at Area 51, and I worked on an alien spacecraft there." And the whole world was like, "What? Wait, what?" And he then started giving off certain evidence. One of the main factors was that he said, like, "Oh, to enter the section that I worked, you had to put your hand on a thing that had 3 dots, and it read your palm of your hand." And of course, back in that time, like 1980s, 1990s, beginning 1990s,
like magic.
yeah, everybody was like, fuck off, that doesn't exist. Like, reading fucking handprints and shit like that, like, bullshit. And like pretty much a couple of years after that, you know, that became sort of mainstream, the whole handprint fucking bullshit. And one of the other things, so the security measurements to enter that building was ahead of its time, which would make sense if you're hiding something like that, which did prove that he was in Area 51. Also, records have been pulled of the fact that he did work there. They didn't deny him working there. He did say he went to a certain school and nobody found any records of him in that school. It was like a highly technological school. I can't remember which one it was.
Yep.
But he said, like, I went to that school and that's where my studies came from and blah, 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 blah. The government discredited him on that and said, like, "Oh, that's bullshit, like he was never in our employment and blah blah blah." So they sort of nagged him constantly until somebody found the class picture and he was in the fucking picture. So the whole, like, at that point everybody knew that the government was lying about something because he was in that school the moment he said he was.
Yep.
You know, it's shit like that, like the government denying shit. And him saying, like, he then dropped it for like a decade, I think, and then picked it back up after people got really interested in UFOs again, like the second wave of UFO interest happened. So yeah, Bob Lazar, I think Joe Rogan did an interview with him not too long ago. So if you want to know about Bob Lazar and the reason why I believe in aliens,
their name sounds so familiar.
What?
That's why the name sounded so familiar.
Oh,
Were
yeah,
they taking
yeah,
ivermectin together?
Yeah.
Joe Rogan, yeah.
Not that I watched the actual interview, more that I heard people talking about the interview.
Yeah. It's really it's an interesting case to say the least, Bob Lazar. All right, next one up. Do I believe that Jack the Ripper was a surgeon?
No.
No? Okay.
Yes.
You think I do?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can't tell you why,
Okay.
but I do.
I would say no, because you would think he was more something like a policeman or something, like a cop.
Oh, like the conspiracy within the conspiracy.
Exactly. And he just liked banging hookers, and then he was like, fuck it, you can't tell my wife or whatever, and just fucking ripped him to pieces.
Yeah.
But then because he was in the police, he knew like what to do to not get caught.
Yeah. But that's one thing that I wouldn't agree with, because I never believed that Jack the Ripper was in it for sexual pleasure. Because, like, the cuts that he made and taking out the womb would make me believe that he was, like, my knowledge of serial killers is more than enough to find out that if you take out a womb, it's pure, like, it's mostly aggression towards female individuals and shit like that.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, if you take out ovaries and shit like that, which he usually did, and yeah. But I did believe that theory for a long while because of the incisions and shit like that. It sort of made sense that it would be somebody that knew how to cut. But my idea of that changed when somebody bought a scarf from Jack the Ripper and started doing DNA analysis on it and actually found a DNA match with a Polish guy, I think. I think if I'm... Aaron Kosminski, I think his name was, which was a barber that lived around that area. So they came up with the name Kosminski and found that there was a barber living with that name around the area that Jack the Ripper was active. He was also known as a very he once was caught with a knife, like he was manhandling a woman with a knife and shit like that. Like there's like small stuff in this guy's history that sort of makes me believe that it was a barber and not an actual surgeon. But
Still pretty good with a sharp blade.
Yeah. And plus has tools that he can carry with him, because I don't think the doctors generally carried like surgeon kits and shit like that. I mean, they did exist, but they didn't carry them with them all the time. It's like, you're not going to tell your wife like, oh, I'm off to the prostitutes, gonna get my surgeon kit out.
I'll bring the womb home, don't worry, I won't forget. Yeah. Hey, look, they were just before their time. It was a fleshlight.
Yeah.
He was bringing bits back for later.
Disgusting, Alex.
Yeah, it was just a joke. He's bringing stuff back for later before they had fleshlights. This is back, like, way back when.
Hey, look, it's either that or putting the sheep paws in your boots so the sheep can't run away.
What?
You never heard that?
I don't think she's even caught on how
it's how you keep a sheep in place. Don't ask me how I know, but think back like 2 weeks when I was having a neighbor. It was,
yep.
It's a wild party. Yeah. Very wild.
Oh, boy.
Do I believe in the Roswell crash?
Yes.
Yeah.
The crash?
Yeah, and the Roswell crash where a UFO crashed in... but they said it was a
weather balloon.
Weather balloon. Yeah, it's a balloon.
Oh, yeah.
I think you don't think it's a weather balloon, though.
Yeah.
But I think you believe there was a UFO crash.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. There's no, like... there's no doubt in my mind that something was there. It got so much attention from the government that, like... Logically, what else could it have been? If it was a weather balloon, then why was the first news article they did about that? Why was it full of fucking lies? And they were caught red-handed, by the way, lying. The government again.
Mm-hmm. What a surprise!
Do I believe 9/11 was an inside job?
You better.
Damn, this is a loaded question.
This is a loaded question.
Ali, you go first.
Well, I hope you do, because it was. But yeah.
So you say yes?
Yes.
I'm going to say yes as well. I believe you think it was an inside job.
I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't. Listen, I'm going to tell you why. Next to the whole jet fuel can't melt steel beams bullshit, the look on George W.'s face when he got that news.
When he was sitting with the class of the what was it?
The
kindergartens.
Was the look of a man utterly defeated, in my point of view.
Yeah, but the CIA doesn't always tell the president what's going on.
If that was acting, what he would have done, from my perspective, if they wanted to make this look realistic, that guy would have gotten up and left the room without saying a word, following his detail. Instead, he sat there.
But he probably didn't know. That doesn't mean, just because it was an inside job, doesn't mean that the president knew about it.
Oh, I do believe that it is financed.
Okay.
I do believe there's money flowing towards that fucking branch that end up doing that. Like, I'm not saying that the Americans haven't been fucking their own people for generations, because they have. I mean, there's clear evidence
this guy. This literally guy believes in fucking aliens, but he doesn't believe. The towns have witnessed and actually heard all the fucking different shit go on in that fucking building, and the way the building fucking collapsed. Nah, fuck off, Andy. Fuck off.
Jesus.
I'm telling you, man, racist.
That is true.
She sees a white guy and she just wants to fucking go at him. That's what it is. It's because I'm white, isn't it?
Reverse racism doesn't exist.
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, it is. No, but it's just I'm not saying that it wasn't like. I'm just saying that when you tell me like it's an inside job, that means that the president would be in on it.
No.
From my perspective, I don't know why they would do that other than to get revenge. You are talking about a people who have been oppressed by the Americans for so fucking long.
Not by that point, no. Not until that point, really.
Not until that point.
Not compared to how they've been afterwards.
Oh yeah, but it got worse. Of course, it got worse. I mean, it's what it was they're in. I mean, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't know. I never got convinced. The one thing that I can explain is the whole Pentagon situation. That was the one thing that baffled me. That I just couldn't think like, how that is not a hole the size of a fucking like the other planes crashed the fucking towers.
Yeah.
And this is just a fucking small hole the side of a building. Like, no bigger than my fucking house.
They're the intelligence agency. How did they not get it shot down? But that's why I think that the CIA were in on it, not the president, because the CIA wanted to run heroin out of, like, through the Silk Road again. So they're like, well, the US has tension here anyway. Let's just fucking make it happen, and then we can go in and start shipping heroin out of Afghanistan and Iraq and stuff again.
Yeah, well, I see it out of the perspective, why wouldn't the US do it? The US has a history of getting their little shitty paws involved in everything. I literally just wrote about this, for fuck's sake.
Yeah, don't get us started. Let's move on. Yeah, she literally just did a paper for school on this exact topic.
On 9/11 being an inside job?
No, more about the US. Like, should the EU be like the federation, like a federation like the US? And I was like, fuck no. They're pricks. Yeah. No, but I see it out of the fucking perspective is like the US has gone, they started with South America, or they did shit in South America, obviously, to access. They were involved in every dictatorship in South America. And I say that obviously this is personal for me because my family was affected due to this. Yeah. And it started because why? Chile elected a socialist president who in 1971 made the copper national to Chile, because before it was owned by US companies. And obviously they didn't like that. So what did the CIA did? They put a fucking puppet, Pinochet, gave him some planes, gave him some money, and they're just like, here, wreak havoc on this country. Yeah. And that's what he did. And once they got done, they got everything out of South America. They needed to start a war in the Middle East, because that's where the money moved into oil. So they had to start a war. So what? How do you get the whole country behind the whole thing, the whole operation? Yeah, war against terrorism, because they killed them.
Yeah, but this is about we're being Andy today. He said he's not into it.
Yeah. I don't know. I never got convinced that it was a higher up. If anything, I would believe that it were a high fucking. But you're talking Bilderberg Group sort of deals then. That it was companies. I'd rather believe it was the private sector, because they do not give a shit about the American people. I mean, at least the American government has shit to hide. The problem,
Andy, that you need to understand is that obviously everything they've done in the Middle East, obviously these are kids from the US that go there and fight and die and then go back home. So how would you excuse the reason for them to go out and die, or just all the shit they have to see in general, and the shit they make them do, and then they sometimes get crazy enough and do themselves? How do you get the whole country behind it? You start, you make it seem like they did it first, so you can have a reason to fight for it and get everyone pumped to fucking do it, because they want to protect the integrity of the American people. And we shouldn't talk too much about it because people are listening.
Yeah.
people who listen.
I don't know.
hope so.
I think it's a very sensitive matter when it comes down to that, like hyping people up. I'd rather be a impartial person when it comes to that discussion, but I'd rather believe it was private sector companies that did that, like shit, like Google, Facebook. Like I'd rather believe that people that actually benefit from that, because you can say, yeah, they're there for the oil, which is true. Like which is true. You can't fucking ignore that fact.
Yeah, but also
like,
you have to.
I see private fucking companies as.
And what is the US
evil.
run by? What are they funded by? Those companies.
Then you can't say it's an
they
inside
need
job.
the fucking header
if it
guy.
goes further than the government, if it's actually the companies backing the government, you can't say it's an inside job because the government didn't know.
But they still need the head of like they can't do everything by themselves. They need the fucking go ahead from certain peoples that are higher up.
Yeah, of course. I believe. Yeah, that's true. Well, anyway, next one up is: do I believe Ted Cruz was the Zodiac killer?
No.
Yes. Just because she said no. And I don't know who that is.
The Zodiac killer.
You don't know the Zodiac killer? This is
I told
the
you, I
Zodiac
don't want to hear
speaking?
about fucking
Holy
star
shit.
signs.
Dude, it was cracked by computer engineers, I think. It should interest you because it's with codes and ciphers and shit like that. The Zodiac killer was a guy back in a way back machine. I think it was the 70s, 80s, something like that.
70s, wasn't it?
70s, yeah, possibly. A serial killer that basically got away with it. And he wrote police letters written in ciphers to taunt them.
Wait,
And
we spoke about this.
No, we
Yeah.
haven't.
No, or I watched something about this.
So he was during the 1960s to the 70s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think I
there you
watched a documentary on this now that you
Yeah.
talk about it.
Yeah.
Sounds very familiar.
It's a very
think-
interesting case, and his last two ciphers that he sent in were never solved
Mhm.
until, of course, you give this to a Belgian person, which then he starts to solve it.
Was it you?
It was actually a warehouse worker from Belgium together with two other people. I can't remember their names because the Belgian guy was way too important for me to be cracking that sort of thing. They knew it was genuine, that they genuinely cracked the cipher because here's what it said: the last cipher that he sent in to the police. I hope you were having lots of fun and trying to catch me. That wasn't me on a TV show, which brings up a point about me. I'm not afraid of the gas chamber because it will send me to paradise all the sooner. Because I now have enough slaves to work for me where everyone else has nothing when they reach paradise. So they are afraid of death. I'm not afraid because I know that my new life will be an easy one in paradise, death. So that was the last thing he ciphered. He did say that he was gonna say his name, never did that. But it does make sense that this would be his message because he mentioned a TV show. And they did a TV show on the Zodiac and wanting to catch this guy because it was a huge fucking deal. And live on air, somebody called in claiming, I am the Zodiac, I've been having headaches and they get worse, and played it off as a sort of an, I think the guy's name was Artie. The presenter of that TV show was Artie. He said, you want to meet up and talk about it and blah, 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 blah. They went to meet up. Nobody was there, of course. But then he mentions that wasn't him on the TV show, which a lot of people doubted, by the way. They doubted that was the Zodiac that actually called in. But it's kind of cool to find out that the Zodiac last ciphers finally have been solved, and by a Dutch guy nonetheless.
Wow, you did something.
Cool.
It's not all about language, Ali.
Yeah, this guy spoke like cryptographic sort of languages, so he actually ditched Dutch altogether.
Mm-hmm.
They were fucking hard to crack because they're like,
That took like 30 years.
Yeah.
40 years.
Yeah.
Fuck, that guy must have been fucking brilliant at math. It's like basically
Well,
what cryptography is. Like cryptography.
The weird thing was that he would occasionally, I don't know if it was him, that he would write something that seemed like sort of offish, but I think it was because he was so smart that he would write like a dumb person just to not come off as smart and shit like that.
Yeah.
But the cool thing he did was he always offered either a detail the police hadn't declassified to the public in his letters, so they knew 100% sure it was him. Or he would, in some cases, he even gave like bloody clothing, like a piece of clothing from the people he killed. And his murders were brutal as well. He put a sack over his head so he was unrecognizable. And he told, I remember this one couple that I found so fucking gruesome. I can't imagine what it must be like to be in that position. But like, he tied the girl up, he tied the guy up with his hands behind the back, and they had to lay down on their stomachs. And so this is all under gunpoint, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
So he laid him on the stomach, and then he said, "Listen, I just want your money. Nothing bad is gonna happen to him." The moment he had them both tied up, he crawled on the guy's back and just started stabbing him like a maniac. I don't know how many times. I think it was like 20 or 30 times. Anyway, that guy, I think he survived, or he survived until he gave the information of what happened, and then he passed away. It was horrible, to say the least. And it wasn't rape. It wasn't sexual in nature. It was just, it's killing people, man. Yeah.
Pure violence.
But was it Ted Cruz?
It wasn't. It wasn't Ted Cruz. I genuinely had a look at that, and it wasn't Ted Cruz. It's just because Ted Cruz looks like a fucking creep. It's basically why that came to life. Is Ted Cruz is so fucking creepy, he could be the Zodiac killer. Which is, thank you, internet, is all I can say to that.
It's a wonderful place.
It's good that it exists. But, all right, so do I believe that the moon landing was fake?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it before. So, yes.
Not first fucking second. I don't know what these fucking guys are on about. I do not believe for one fucking second that would have been fake. Like, why? Yeah, because they have something to hide. They've seen a monolith on the fucking moon. Yeah, so what? Fucking, there's this phallic symbol on the fucking moon. I don't, but like, why?
Do you believe it's true?
No, I believe it's completely fucking dumb to think that the moon landing was fake in any form or way.
Mm-hmm.
Who is this guy?
I don't know.
He's not Andy.
No.
Maybe his neighbor climbed inside.
Would you expect me, like, do you guys seriously think that I would, like, think that the moon landing
believe
is
that
fucking...
it's fake.
Yeah, I think it's bullshit.
Yeah.
Do you believe that it's fake?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they just did it to fuck Russia. They're like, fuck you, Russia. We're better. We went to the moon. Yay, America.
But why?
Because the space race in the time, it was all the rage. They wanted to show who had the better technology. Because it's a Cold War, right? They didn't went at war, literally. So they had to, like, big dick. I got
it's
more
just a
of
dick
this
swinging
than you.
competition. And they needed to win it.
You seriously think they would fake a moon landing?
Yeah.
Russia was the first. Russian space program #1. US #2. Get wrecked, America. The cosmonauts know what they're doing.
Oh, by the way, like, let's get something straight here. You know that whole tale? Like, oh, they invested $2 million to devise a pen that could write in outer space because ink doesn't work like that. And the Russians solved this with a pencil. Like, that's fucking bullshit, people. Stop telling that story. It's not real. It's not true.
It's just, what is it? I'm not that, like, into it. Like, yeah, like, hardcore. This is, I just, no. I don't believe in it.
I think we'll confirm it for once and for all if someone beats the US back to the moon and then try to find that fucking flag.
But that's the thing that in the video that I don't get, that the fly is just like flopping about. It's like, No.
Oh,
Doesn't work that way.
it seemed eerily quiet. That is true, but like I've never been on the moon. I don't know what the weather was like there.
It's true.
But it has to do with gravity and
But
stuff
the
like that. How
moon
they
does have like
store.
gravity.
Yeah, but I don't
gravity.
think you.
Yeah,
I
very
don't
low.
think
but
you
it
can.
does.
I don't think you can grasp that idea if you've never been in weightlessness.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's not like you're jumping into a pool because you still like in a pool you still feel resistance. You don't have that on the moon. So I don't know. Like I couldn't say.
Hey,
how
I
that would-
believe it's fake at least. You don't. Okay, cool.
We're
Yeah.
not very good at guessing Andy's things.
No.
Yeah, I
But I thought
figured.
Andy was smarter, but
Yeah, this fucker believes that the moon landing was fucking real.
yeah.
He thinks the moon is made of cheese.
That would be. You know what? I don't, but I would want to believe that.
What
That
type
would
of
be-
cheese, though, is it? Like, what is it? Is it a
Ched-
cheddar? Is it a
no,
soft
no,
brie
no,
where you
cheddar,
melt?
Cheddar would be too smelly to walk around on. I'd say it's sort of young cheese, like somewhere like something
like a
that's not
Gouda
too
or
smelly.
whatever.
Yeah, because I don't like the stinky cheeses. They don't fancy
It is
my.
not stinky.
Cheddar's fantastic.
Fantastic.
Do I believe that the governments are performing satanic rituals?
Yes, 100% yes. You've even been to one with the Queen of England. That's what happened to Princess Diana. You were there. She wasn't in that
actually
fucking
gonna
card.
be in there, but I decided not to go with Princess Di.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Yeah. I don't believe in the satanic rituals, but I do believe in pedophilia running the government.
Yeah.
Because, like, there's only so much evidence you can be presented with until you have to say, you know what? There's at least like a 70% chance of this being an actual fucking thing. But the weird thing is that, but this is a fucking weird one for me because this is a very spiraling one. If you start looking into pedophilia, which I think the general public is sort of like, yeah, there's a big possibility that this is like higher ups are doing this.
Yeah, well, I mean, look at France at the Catholic Church where they found evidence that
Yeah,
216,000 kids had been abused. 216,000. What happened? They're just like, oh, we beg for forgiveness. Like, bullshit, go to jail.
Yeah.
Like anybody else that would fucking molest a child.
Yeah, whose birthday was that day? I mean, come on. Jesus
And 2/3 of them were priests, people. Not, it wasn't just some fucking guy affiliated with the church.
Let's not forget the whole Pizzagate situation. That was shady as fuck, to say the least. But here's the thing. If you start to spiral down this thing, you have to look at the victims that have come forward, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, when you start to listen to these like public fucking cases of people being molested by higher ups and shit like that, and actually coming forward, sort of Jimmy Savile sort of situations and lawsuits and all that, and you start listening to these kids, you may want to have a reconsidering of the satanic rituals. Though I don't think they are meant to be satanic in nature, because I don't think that the government would. I don't know, man. Like, why? There's absolutely no fucking proof. As a matter of fact, less and less every day people believe. So, like, it's not one way or the other. It's just like, doing these satanic rituals. Just why? Like, does it truly give you power and shit like that? Like, that's you have to spiral with all that fucking bullshit down, and then that's the point where I just fucking throw my towel in the ring, where I stop giving a fucking shit, because, like, how deep does it go?
So the answer to this question is
No.
maybe.
Yeah. Listen, if I follow the evidence presented to me, then yes. Because remember when I said on the show, I think this was on an episode that Ali presented to us, that I talked about a kid having to watch another kid being raped by this well-hung individual.
Yeah.
That-
Which one?
that
fuck
didn't
was that?
stop, and then he had to kill the kid afterwards.
Yep.
I can't remember
Wasn't
what
that
episode that was.
The fetish episode.
Yeah,
Could
possibly.
be.
Yeah.
I think so. The same person that came out with that story also told of a block being present in one of those rooms, and that block had an infant on it with its head chopped off and shit like that. I mean,
Jeez.
if that is not satanic rituals, then explain to me what the fuck that is, because like that's no French Fry Tuesday, you know? That's just
That's
fucking
just people being sick.
yeah. It's either that, either our countries are run by very sick individuals who are masters of disguises, or there is
Yes.
something ritualistic to it. Well, you can't just believe that, because these are commonly sane people and not dumb as well. So you'd have to look
they're
into
highly
ritualistic shit.
intelligent. They're highly intelligent, but that's also the thing you need to think about is that most people that run countries and governments and politicians and stuff like that, they're usually extremely narcissistic,
Yeah.
and sometimes psychopaths in a sense.
But
But
there's
they-
also the whole argument that like they do it because then everyone has dirt on anyone. So then there's
Yeah.
no, like if they all do shit like that, right? Like
Yeah.
they're all linked to Epstein, right? In some way, a convicted fucking pedophile who people and all the higher ups in the world are linked to him in one way or another.
Yeah.
Went to his island, like what they didn't fuck 12-year-old, 13-year-old girls. Of course they did. But you know, whatever. We don't have any evidence, so we can't say it happened.
Mhm.
But it's like, but there is that sort of thought out there that because if you all do fucked up shit and everyone's in on it, then no one will snitch, because then if you snitched on me, I can turn around, well, I saw him fuck a 12-year-old,
Yeah,
or I saw him murder a hooker.
everything would collapse.
So the whole
Yeah.
thing collapsed. So they literally, by being pricks.
Well, people have come forward from the Skull and Bone Association. I don't know if you know these frat houses. These were frat houses where George W. Bush was president, was in and shit like that when they went to college, which is apparently when you get into Skull and Bones, you're gonna be a leader of the world. Period. Like you're gonna do something amazing if you get in there. Because these are like a group of people that are just so fucking vastly wealthy that you couldn't possibly believe.
But that was the point that I was also going to get to, like with the narcissistic and sometimes psychopathy thing that I was saying is,
Sorry.
yeah, no, that's all right, because obviously I also believe in what you say. Like that could be a theory as well, obviously, but as well that, yeah. But once you have that much power and that much money, you can go crazy, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And obviously, since your lines are already blurred, because that's your personality traits and how you are. What is to stop you to take that extra jump?
Okay. You are a bruja, right? So you know a little bit of witchcraft and shit like
No.
that. You are not a bruja?
I am, but I'm not practicing. Sure.
You're not practicing bruja, but you know some of it. So
Retired.
do you believe there are rituals you can perform to actually have that much power?
No.
No. You don't believe that?
No.
Okay. Just asking.
Hmm?
Curious though.
No, I think it all has to do with money, like wealth, like being born into wealth, people they associate, time and places, meet the right people, connections.
Mm-hmm.
And greed. Very
And greed.
human
Yeah.
trait.
Yeah. No. All right. Well, I want to believe in satanic rituals because that would make more sense than just doing it out of the sheer fucking madness of your soul.
Have you met people? People are disgusting.
Yeah, but this is kids.
Next level, yeah.
This isn't this isn't just like, oh, put your finger up there.
No. I mean,
These
people
are
are
fucking-
sick in the head,
No.
and they
I
know
guess
how
so.
to break people down. Like, can give you plenty of examples of that. Like fucking
Yeah.
Alex,
She does
my
it to me.
Budo fucking story. That's what he's thinking
That
about.
was fantastic.
The horror story that he told.
Buru story. Wait.
Japanese.
Oh,
torturing,
yeah.
like,
Holy
vivisecting
shit.
people.
Yeah, that fucking imagination that I genuinely think was a sexual fantasy of yours, but hey, Who am I?
I wouldn't mind cutting someone open. Ali, you want to give it a shot tonight? We've got some
Move for
sharp
me.
knives.
Do I believe that COVID-19 is fake?
No.
I hope not. No.
I don't think
No?
you think it in itself is fake, but that the governments are overreacting in their response to it.
Yeah, exactly. You're right on the ball there. There's not much more that I can say about that.
I kind of agree, by the way, but
I'm not saying that there's no new strain of COVID. COVID's been around for a long fucking time. I'm just thinking, you know,
Well, you don't believe there's a new strand?
I believe there's a new strand. Oh, fuck yeah. I
Okay.
don't believe... But here's
It
the
doesn't
thing.
matter.
Here's the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's like the
Yeah.
flu. There's a new fucking one in different countries at the same fucking time. We
Yeah.
don't have a lockdown every time there's a new fucking
Yeah.
strain.
And we already went over this in the pandemic episode that we did pre-COVID, actually, before COVID was classified as a pandemic, that obviously the life cycle of a virus is it is deadliest when it first appears, and then obviously it will continue to mutate. And the whole reason is to stay alive as long as
It
possible.
gets more contagious, but less dangerous.
yeah.
No. Yeah.
COVID.
But yeah, so I don't believe it's fake, but I do believe it's overrang like a motherfucker. That's what that are my beliefs.
Don't put your savings in a bank, people, in the next couple of years. You're fucked. Inflation's going to fuck you. Take that money and buy like into an index fund or
it's,
something.
like financially,
it's
like
gonna
I
fuck
think
you.
my kids are pretty fucked.
Nah, man, you just got to invest in index funds and take your money out of actual money because it's going to be worth nothing.
Yeah. Do you think there's like crypto shit behind it though?
Nah,
Like
man,
the whole fucking, it's gonna be like, oh well, you know, fucking there's no more money, so now we have to reinvent money.
Nah,
And it's got to be crypto shit. And
crypto's
shit like
going
that.
the wrong way. It's starting to get this trends. I was reading the other day. It's getting closer and closer to following the stock market with each like successive month now, because now all the banks have put their attention. So of course, if the banks pull their money out of the stock exchange, they pull their money out of crypto at the same time.
Yeah.
And the whole point, the good thing about crypto is when the banks are when your funds and shit were doing bad, crypto would boom. So it was great for your average Joe guy who's just like doing a bit of speculative investing. But no, I don't think crypto. The government's cracking down on it.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers trying to take my money.
You know, this episode is only there to prove that, you know, conspiracy theories and all that bullshit, everybody has entitled to their own opinion. And I'm very glad that my co-hosts, you know, they at least think about these things as well. That makes me feel a little less mad some days. But it also has to be said that it isn't because it's a conspiracy theory that it's not true. There's been plenty of cases out there that conspiracy theories were laughed at, like generously laughed at, when they told people, and that it turned out to be true. I did want to put that in this episode because I think it's very important that people not take too much. I get it. It's funny to laugh at people that believe in conspiracy theories, but also, on the other hand, let me give you some examples of where you perhaps should have better listened to conspiracy theories. It's never wrong to investigate.
WikiLeaks.
Yeah, oh, fuck yeah.
All of WikiLeaks.
Major fucking example. The Dead Baby Project was also one. I found a couple, and the Dead Baby Project was actually a conspiracy that the government was stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. You remember when we talked about the fact that they blew up fucking nuclear bombs not too far from soldiers and got it on tape to show how safe it was?
In the Marshall Islands and stuff, yeah.
So back in those days, there were whispers and conspiracy theorists saying the government is stealing dead bodies to do radioactive testing. Now, the truth to that was that the government was stealing parts of dead bodies because they needed young tissue. They recruited a worldwide network of agents to find recently deceased babies and children, and then take samples and even limbs, each collected without notification or permission of the parents of the more than 1,500 grieving families.
Grave robbing. It's a crime.
Yeah. Oh, it's a crime unless you work for the government. Then it's okay.
The thing with conspiracy theories in general is like, yeah, okay, sure, I believe it, but it gets to a certain point where I think people get really sick from it, and it can affect your life so bad in so many ways. And also, like, if you are the type of believer that believes in the government, like all the conspiracy when it comes to government and all this shit, and are deeply afraid, like, why are you still part of society then? Like, I can respect. Yeah, but I can respect. You can try to get
forced. You are sort of forced to do that. Like, if I didn't want to live in society, where would I have to go?
Yeah, but you can still get off the grid. Like, you will never be completely off the grid.
In Belgium, it's the size of my fucking shoe.
Yeah, well,
where's it gonna be?
Fucking shit that you move around.
How's it gonna be off the grid?
But then you move if you really deeply believe in them. But that's the thing that I mean. It's like there's.
So you're basically saying if you don't like my way of living, fuck off and live somewhere.
No, I'm
else.
saying if you don't like the way society lives and you believe it,
more racist.
No, but in the
becoming
sense,
a fascist.
Shut the fuck
right
up!
In front of us.
I'm just saying, if you don't believe in society and everything, it's like, and that is your choice. No one's stopping you. But then, obviously, at the same time, what it does is like it affects. Not affects.
Sure, but it's also important to ask questions. You also shouldn't just be a fucking robot and be like,
you should ask questions.
Exactly.
This is true because I was told it was so.
And you should question your government, and you should do all these things.
You should question everything.
No, you should question everything, but I'm saying, but that's the thing.
We covered this on so many fucking episodes. The government does not give a shit about you.
Yes.
If you want to have another example, you remember the time when Prohibition came along and Al Capone was actually the good guy?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Al Capone helped fucking people because people got boozed because of Al Capone. You know what the government did during that time? And that was a conspiracy theory back then as well. They were telling people, oh, fucking don't drink the alcohol that they still allow in some bars, blah, blah, blah. Go to an Al Capone bar because there it's safe. And Al Capone was a fucking gangster.
Mm-hmm.
But they were poisoning people through the alcohol they were given if it wasn't Al Capone regulated.
Mm-hmm.
And it turned out to be true. The government was literally poisoning hard liquor so that people wouldn't drink anymore.
Yeah.
So actually, at one point, gangsters were safer to hang around with than the fucking government.
Yeah. But that's the thing, is it's like
true also, in many senses.
Yeah, but you can look at many gangsters in that sense. You can look at fucking, what is his fucking name? Medellin fucking guy.
Escobar.
Yeah, Escobar. Like, at the end of the day, he helped his people. And he did that with coke money.
He did it way better than the Colombian government.
But also, he killed a lot of people. It's like, there's balance
but you just got to be on the
fucking
right side here, okay? If you're on the right side.
Yeah, but there needs to be a balance. But that's the thing. It's like, just because inherently people say that the one person is a bad guy doesn't mean that he is necessarily. That there's many good things that happen with it too. And like, there's so many things. And like you said, yes, we should question everything. And if we don't as people, then yeah, you are a sheep and you fucking, what's the fucking point?
The series Blacklist has a very interesting take on that because it once questioned the fact, should you judge somebody on their lowest day or should you judge a person on what he did throughout his entire life? Because looking at that, Pablo Escobar was a fucking fantastic human being. Because
he was quite horrible too.
He was quite horrible. But does that outweigh all the good things he did?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And here's a counterpoint. He wouldn't have had to kill so many people if people just let him do his fucking job and didn't compete with him. If he had no competitors and the government didn't stop him from selling coke, he would have been fine.
To be fair here, buddy, it was Pablo Escobar. At one point, the government arrested him. He went through a trial and they jailed him. And he said, okay, I'll fix that for you. Yep. And he ended up living in this huge fucking mansion
with his boys
on top of a fucking hill that was supposedly his prison that had hookers coming in every day. Like, that was the best prison in the fucking world.
True, but he still had competitors, which is why he had to kill people.
He's a dick, but at least he's a smart dick and he tried to do good. And yeah, he got a lot of money out of it, but at least he wasn't scared of sharing. I mean,
imagine how much more he would have done if the government didn't stop him from getting his money that he earned and actually spending it. Because he lost so much money because he had to launder all of it. And he was making so much money, it was impossible to launder all of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So there's literally money buried in somewhere in the Colombian jungle being eaten by fucking insects.
Yeah.
But it's like if they just let him, like, hey, take this money. Imagine Medellin could have been like the next fucking king of the world fucking city to go to. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
the banks,
there's another one that I thought was amazing. Do you recall that they once did like a tag search on the Dalai Lama, and it turned out he was actually a CIA operative?
Oh, Jesus!
Like, no, this is genuinely true. Like, this is a little known, but it was like whispered amongst conspiracy theorists, and I got wind of that too. That I thought like, well, that's fucking amazing. Like that's not possible at all. Like the Dalai Lama, a CIA agent, like fuck that. But
opponent of peace. Meanwhile, works for CIA.
But he pulled down a 6-figure salary from the U.S. government during the 1960s, according to some like declassified intelligence documents. He earned about $180,000 in connection with CIA funding of the Tibetan resistance to the tune of $1.7 million per year, and the idea was to disrupt and hamper China's infrastructure.
Yep, I'm reading that right here. Holy shit.
Yep. So that turned out to be true as well. Like the Dalai Lama was at one point a CIA operative. Like, how awesome is that?
Yeah, to fight the Chinese.
you know, it's so fucking far out of the box that you would think like, oh, that's fucking bullshit. But it's true. Mm-hmm. Like, people do shit for money, and the government has a lot of that. So, you know, I do think it's important. Like, I think what you can get away from it is the most important thing that Alex said tonight. It's important to always ask questions, and I want people to keep doing that, because that brings us to very fun discussions sometimes and heated arguments.
Yeah, and it's important. You need to do that as people. If we don't,
actually need to do that. Yeah.
Yes, and that's how you grow as an individual. You learn new stuff and you see stuff out of other perspective, and I would never say just believe something blindly just because. It's like, do your research and think about it and see it out of every try to see it out of every angle. It's really important.
Yeah, and if you do that, you won't end up like those boomers on Facebook who read a clickbait news article, don't actually read the article, and then start arguing about stuff in the comments.
Do you think there's something going on in Antarctica? Do you know that the fact that you can't legally go to Antarctica?
You can go there, can't you, as a tourist? But no one owns Antarctica.
You can't fucking go there unsupervised.
Oh, yeah, because it's a research facility, right?
Yep. Do you think they're hiding something there?
I think it's...
Probably, it does seem plausible.
I kind of get why, though. It's like the last genuinely untouched place on Earth. So it's kind of like, hey, man, if you come here and fuck shit up, like, you're breaking all of our experiments. Like, here we can do, like, proper science, because there ain't no fucking planes flying overhead or some fucking dickhead creating acid rain because he's burning down a rainforest or something. So,
have you heard the theory that there might be you have the world map, right? Yeah. And you have Antarctica.
That's the wall of ice if you're a flat earther, the one that's
normally that's the wall. But this is not flat earth bullshit. This is like the fact, quote unquote. Supposedly, if you keep going far enough in Antarctica, you eventually struck upon untouched lands that apparently are so fruitful and amazing, like Garden of Eden type bullshit.
I'm not buying that.
That is not on the map. What I do want you to do to maybe change your perspective on that, look into the fact what maps look like. Because maps have, oddly enough, they have fucking changed.
Yeah.
Since
of course they have.
No. I think in a very short period. I think it was maps before the 1960s or something like that.
Yeah, but that the theory that you just said, like, if it is a fruitful land and everything is amazing, it's like, why is it not being exploited?
Oh, it's being exploited, all right, just not by common folk like you and me, Ali.
Yeah, but it's the same thing with most paradise places in the world. They are all exploited and destroyed.
Maybe it
Yeah.
used to be a paradise 45 million years ago before it was covered in snow.
Yeah,
Nice.
no, but for example, like the rainforest in Brazil is like that's an amazing part of the world, but
Barely exists anymore.
barely exists.
Yeah. See, this is the one thing I don't really get is like governments telling us like, oh, you can't go to Antarctica, but like who's stopping me? Like, what's gonna happen if I go there? They're gonna throw me in jail. Who's the boss of Antarctica?
Who
You'll
owns
die-
that?
you'll die of the
there?
cold.
Is that a king? Is that a president?
I think
Is that
there
like
is an international council or something that's like. I'm pretty sure Australia has like owns, but we have like 70% of it or something because we're like the next closest country.
Wow,
after Chile
look
and,
at that.
and Argentina. I think so. I could be wrong, but I think we have the most of it. But it's all like some territory you can't claim, right?
That where the criminals put the criminals? Is that
Yeah.
why that is?
Yeah, we took
it's
all
like where you put the worst of the worst.
Oh yeah, we just ship them down there to freeze to death.
Yeah. I just wish that the conspiracy theory that Australia doesn't exist is fucking real.
I mean, look, I've had some undisclosed payments. Swedish government, that is not a fact. That was a joke.
For legal reasons, that was
for
a
legal
joke,
reasons.
all right.
That was absolutely a joke. That is not
Well,
true.
you know what? We did it again. And if you wanted to watch this live, then all you had to do was join the Discord server, link in the description down below. And of course, we always have Twitter you can go to or Instagram, both very active. Yeah.
Instagram at @random.podcast, so at.random.podcast.
And on Twitter, we are AT_randompod.
Yeah, and as every week, thank you so much, guys, for the listen. Just keep asking those questions, man. Just keep fucking going for it. Oh, and by the way, the guy that reached out about the D&D episode, 1, fuck you. 2, maybe he'll know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, he said that our D&D episodes fucking sucked,
Yeah.
and he wanted us to do a genuine D&D episode. Yeah.
Ain't nobody got
But
time to edit that shit, man.
Dude, I looked into it. It's not just the edit, man. It's so much fucking work.
Yeah.
It's so much.
And honestly, I'm
fucking
going to say, I like Dungeons and Dragons, but playing it straight up is fucking shit. The whole
Yeah.
fun of Dungeons and Dragons is making shit up as you go along.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be
Well,
fun.
I don't know, but he did say like it didn't make any fucking sense what we did. I told him again, it was a D20 adventure. It's just a D20 and fucking around with it.
Yeah, it was just fucking.
And
around.
I've never played
Yeah.
it before, so I don't have a fucking clue what the fuck I was doing. So
Actual D&D, I'm looking into episodes right now, so maybe I will end up creating one. The only thing I do know is that takes months to make a 2-hour or 3-hour adventure. It literally takes a shitload of fucking time to DM that shit. So maybe I'll just say fuck you and you can suck my nuts. We'll see in the future. All right. Good. Bye.
See ya.
bye.